We're calling this meeting of the Select Board of the Town of Sheffield to order on March 1st, 2021. It is being recorded by CTSB. Please let me know if you'd like to record it. You're free to do so after informing the chair. Select Board members with us tonight are Martin Mitzoff, Bob Kilmer, Renee Wood, that's the full house. We also have Town Administrator Rhonda Lombard and her assistant Jill Hughes. I do want to let people know that we do have a revised agenda. We have added a new which one did we add? Rhonda, it was the garage, the highway garage. We've added a new number 7, which is discussion, possible action, response letter to citizens concern regarding the highway garage. As I think Rhonda explained at our last meeting, we do post the agendas, but if they get revised and if we go to post them on our electronic calendar, it breaks the connection. So what we're going to start doing at every select board meeting, if we have revised the agenda, we will tell you at the start what the item is, and then when we get to it, I will announce again that it's a revised agenda item. The revised agenda, of course, is posted on the official notice board, which is the board outside of Town Hall. All right, so with that, we have approval of meeting minutes. We have 2 sets from February 4th, 1 set from February 11th, and 2 sets from February 16th. Is there a motion?
This is Martin. I'll make a motion that we approve the February 4th working meeting minutes as amended, that we approve the February 4th executive session meeting minutes, that we approve the February 11th working meeting minutes as amended, the February 16th working meeting minutes as amended, and the February 16th meeting minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Jeanette Valone, 351 East Road.
Renee, aye. Who was it who just came on, please?
Jeanette Valone, 351 East Hall Road.
Thank you. Next item is discussion action regarding a curb cut for Foley Road. I think we have this all in our packet. It has been signed off by the police chief and our highway superintendent. Does the board wish to take action on this?
I make a motion to approve the Foley Road street curb cut permit as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. This is for Mark and it looks like Erica Devotee. All right. Is there any discussion on this?
Renee, may I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Okay. Where it says see attached, and then there's that little blurb that's attached to it, I'm going to write that in on lines 11 and 12 so it's all on one page.
Good. I was going to suggest that we either redesign this form. I don't like to have second pages that get lost.
Right.
So thank you, Rhonda. All right. Is there any other discussion? All right. So let's do a roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee? Aye. Our next item is the discussion possible action regarding SNE proposal for senior center heating system. We had this at our last meeting. Rhonda, would you like to bring us up to date on this? Because I know that there were a number of things you had to check on with the contractor.
Yes, there were. So I talked with Joe from SNE Building Systems, and he's fine with a 1-year contract. He said, just cross it out and initial it, and he's absolutely fine with that. He is not in agreement with removing those clause that Martin wanted to the materials invoiced. I think that's on page 3. under preferred labor. He said that's the industry standard, and if they have to order parts from somewhere else, they have to pay delivery, the people time to go to do the ordering, those types of things, and so he's not comfortable removing that clause.
Oh, okay. So, board members, do you have questions for Rhonda?
I do not.
No.
Okay. So, so what we need to do, if the board wishes to accept what Rhonda has negotiated, is to change that terms and payment. So it would begin on February 1st, 21, and then end after 1 year. Did you get any sense from him, Rhonda, whether he anticipated an increased fee if we did not take the 3-year contract?
He said that, that's always a possibility because right now he's giving you the $1,000 for 3 years, and he didn't say for sure whether it would go up next year, but there is the possibility that it could.
Okay, so is there a motion on this?
I make a motion that we accept the 1-year term as written.
I'll second that, subject to discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So let's discuss. Martin?
So would we change the date to, let's say, March 2nd or 3rd?
I got to just find that page 1 second, Martin. So it'll begin February 1st. We could. I'm sure he'd be fine with that. But I can check with, to make sure.
Okay.
And then it would end a year later if we go
Yes.
1 year, and it would end 3 years later if we go 3 years.
Right.
So further discussion, Martin?
No, that's it for me.
Bob?
Yeah, I have one question. Now, does this also include cleaning and servicing of the system or just the computer controls?
It's not the heating system, Bob. This is just the control that runs it.
And that's what I thought.
So if you look at the last page, though, I think it does say the enterprise network server and then the air handling unit and then whatever VAV 1, 2, 3, and 4 is. I'm sure it's something that has to do with the air handling unit.
Just to clarify, though, it's the associated controller with those units, not the units themselves.
Do we have further clarification we need?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that we're talking about the complete system or just the control system.
I can't answer
It's
that
the control
question.
system. I will double check with him, but I believe it's the control system only.
Okay.
So does the board wish to defer this to a working meeting? So we have this answer so this doesn't go on forever? Or would you like to make a motion subject to it being just the control system? Or what would you like to do? I'm not sure I hear a finalization on this.
This is Martin. I'd like to defer it until we know the information, and I'd withdraw my second.
Okay, so let's make sure, Bob and Martin, could you please let Rhonda know exactly what because it says controls associated with the following equipment.
Right.
Would you please let Rhonda know exactly what you want her to clarify?
Yeah, basically, and she seems to be pretty sure that it's just the control system, not the heating unit itself or the cooling unit or the air circulation unit. It is only the control unit that runs those operations.
Okay. Martin, is that what the clarification you're seeking?
No, I already understand it to be that. I knew it was just the control system. It's not any of the actual heating or cooling equipment itself. It's just the controllers. So I'm already familiar with that. At least that's my understanding. But if the select board wants clarification, then I would suggest we postpone a decision.
So, Bob, would you like Rhonda to clarify what you had asked?
If she's certain that this is just the control system, then that's what it is.
It seems to me
I have no problem with
that. We get a bonus. Okay, so let's go on the supposition that this is the controls only. It kind of says that on attachment C. Can we go forward with a motion? If it does anything more, I think we're in bonus land. Bob had a motion for a 1-year contract at $1,000. Martin, I think you withdrew your second. Are you? Can you put that second back? Can you motion that second again?
Yes, I second the 1-year contract.
Okay. Okay, so we'll reinstate your second. Is there any further discussion? So let's do a roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee? Aye. Okay, Rhonda, thank you. Our next item is an announcement regarding planning board alternate member. Rhonda, would you handle this for us, please?
Sure. So the planning board for this part of the fiscal year has not had an alternate member to serve in case one of the members is absent or has a conflict. So we're putting out a plea for anyone who's interested to be the alternate member. It's a yearly appointment. The appointment at this point, if we could make it at our next meeting, would be only until July 1st. So anyone interested should send in a letter of interest.
And could you specify, Rhonda, when this alternate planning board member, when they would come into play on the planning board?
If a member couldn't make it, or if they had a conflict, they would need to use the alternate member.
Okay, and that would be on a special permit?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a wonderful way for someone to take a look at the planning board and see if it was something that they would like to be involved in. So please, if you're interested, just drop an email to Rhonda or give her a call and let her know, and then she'll, if you don't have her address, she would just need an email. Okay, thank you. So our next item is a letter, a discussion, possible action regarding a letter to the planning board regarding marijuana establishments. I think at the last meeting, just to set the background on this, we had agreed to send a letter to the planning board asking to get together with them to talk about marijuana establishments. And then we have been spending quite a bit of time as a select board talking about marijuana. And this basically would be to let them know that we would be interested in potentially adding some sample words to the zoning bylaws to limit the number of outdoor marijuana cultivators, as is currently the number of marijuana retailers is limited in town. So this is just a draft letter. I don't know if the board wants to go forward with this. It was more just to continue to move the discussion forward. So let's open it up for discussion.
This is Martin. I think the letter is very, very good and very useful. I would make one slight change. The last sentence to say, please let us know when would be a good time to schedule a working meeting open to the public.
Yeah, well, all working meetings are open to the public unless it's an executive session. It's open.
Yes, I just want to stress that because there have been some questions about the openness of meetings. I just think it's good to add that.
Yes,
So-
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Bob, your thoughts?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so Martin, would you care to make a motion which would include the changing in wording?
Yes, this is Martin. I'll make a motion that we approve the March 1st draft to Ken Smith, Chairman of the Sheffield Planning Board, regarding a community input and outdoor marijuana cultivation meeting to be scheduled, with a slight change to the very last sentence. Please let us know when would be a good time or day, whatever, to schedule a working meeting open to the public.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Martin,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and Renee, aye. Yeah, I want to just clarify, because I know there were some issues last week with a meeting. I generally, well, always, let me back off the word generally, always. If a meeting is going to be a virtual, it's going to say virtual, and that's what, as far as I know, almost every meeting has been, with the exception of some of the planning board meetings. We're now going to bold virtual, so people will understand that. If a meeting is going to be in person, it is going to say in person with a virtual component. And if a meeting is in person, then it is open, obviously, to the public, and it will handle the capacity that can be of the public at the usual COVID-19 distancing. That's going to be the practice going forward. We have understood from our lawyers that if the board wants to meet together and have it be a virtual meeting, and that they do, by town council, have the right to do that. But once one person is entered from the public is allowed in a meeting, then it has to be opened. And as we know, there are some one meeting that is going to have to be rescheduled to conform to that. So I'm hoping that will clarify that. Again, this board and this town have worked so hard over the last number of years to be as transparent as possible on meetings, that we're going to continue that. And when we find something that hasn't been done correctly, and there's been a lot of changes with COVID-19 on how to hold meetings, then we will address it immediately, and it will be addressed by all of the boards that function within the town. I don't know if anybody on the planning, anybody on the select board wants to say anything more about that, or Rhonda wants to say anything about that, but I know we all feel very strongly about this. Any select board members?
I concur with you, Renee.
Rhonda, anything to add? Bob, I'm sorry. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. Let Rhonda go, and then I'll add.
Okay. Rhonda, do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add, Renee, but I agree with you.
Okay, Bob?
I just wanted to clarify something, because after the last planning board meeting, we were allowing in-person and virtual. Now, after council, I believe they said that if the public is allowed in and we cannot handle socially distanced the entire group, that it has to be held virtually, correct?
Rhonda,
Yes.
You spoke with council. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody needs the same level of participation.
So we can allow the planning board to meet, but we cannot allow the general public to meet in person. They will have to be all virtual.
Correct. The planning board may be in attendance, but they're still going to be on the virtual call, but they may all be in the same room. But absolutely no members of the public will be allowed in.
and that it was basically because of the COVID restrictions. There is a possibility, especially with some of the issues right now with the amount of interest, that it possibly we could not hold a socially distanced meeting at town hall. And if we were to deny one, we would have to deny all. So that's why the change has come about.
Nicely put, Bob. Thank you. Okay, let's go on to our next item. That is discussion, possible action regarding an open meeting law complaint filed by Susan Butler. And we have the first 2 pages of this in our packet, and also Martin has, we all have the letter that Martin has suggested. Bob, you've got that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, great. I think Martin's done a good job on this, and I think it captures what I would have said. And basically, let me just summarize this. The letter, and if any planning, I don't know why I'm saying planning board tonight, they're on my mind, excuse me. If any select board member has a comment after looking at the open meeting law complaint, and it does not, and you want to add something to this letter, Martin's letter, then we will do that. But the gist of Martin's letter is that the alleged violation is not listed on the open meeting law complaint form on page 2. Basically, we're supposed to read a number of pages to figure out what that complaint is. The description of what actions are wanted by Ms. Butler is not on page 2 of the complaint form, but it is, we are referred to a number of pages of additional information to ferret out what the complaint resolution would be. So what Martin is noting, which I do agree with, is that we do want the complaint to be on the open meeting complaint form. There's 2 pages to do it, a front and a back. And we do not seek to limit additional materials that would be filed with that complaint, but we do want to know the gist of the complaint and the action requested on the state dictated form. Also, after this has been reviewed, the select board feels that the minutes that were called into question will have been covered by previous actions taken by the board, and they will stand, and that the board feels that the 2 sets of minutes that are the subject of the complaint conform to the requirements, all requirements of the Massachusetts open meeting law. So, Bob, do you have anything to add to this letter?
No, I don't.
Are you in agreement with it?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'm fine with it. Martin, you wrote it. You want to make a motion?
Yep. I make a motion that the select board send the letter to Susan Butler regarding her open meeting complaint form as drafted.
Second.
Is there a second? Okay, there's a second. Is there any further discussion, board members? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee, aye. All right, now this next item we're taking up is the new item on our revised agenda. And it is a discussion, possible action, a response to a letter to a citizen, response letter to citizens concerned regarding the highway garage. And this is a letter that the board received, and we have a draft of a response. It basically was expressing concerns about the potential location of the highway garage at I think it's at 422 Berkshire School Road, and this is just basically the board's response to that. Does anyone have any comments on that? Anything you'd like to change? Should we be sending this?
This is Martin. I make a motion that we send the letter as drafted.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee, aye. Okay, so now we're back to the agenda that was posted on the town's website. And the next item is discussion of possible actions regarding approval for 2 community compact best practices grants. We have this in our packet. The first compact best practice area involves preparing a capital improvement plan that reflects the community's needs, is reviewed and updated annually, and fits within a financing plan that reflects the community's ability to pay. The main thing that we're looking for on this grant is funding of about $14,500. This goes with the capital plan that we've been working on for some time. It's really to hire a qualified accounting firm to do a capital inventory and a financial assessment of all of the town's assets with a value of $10,000 or greater, and then to put this into a software program, generate reports, educate people on how to use that, and then basically begin again. This came out as a result of our recent audit that we are not following the General Accounting Standard Board's practices regarding capital assets in town, and that may have an impact if and when we go to borrow money. So that's kind of the first practice. Let me see if Rhonda, did you want to make any comments on this?
I think you have it covered, Renee. Fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bob or Martin, do you have any questions on this before we go to the next one?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Sorry, this is Martin. I think it's a great idea. I'd be happy to make a motion and on that best practice area number 1, if you'd like, or do you want it?
Could we do them both together? Because they
Absolutely.
both go as a single application. We
Absolutely.
get to do 2. Okay. All right. So the second one is deals with energy and environment, and the best practice is to reduce municipal solid waste and increase recycling in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with solid waste. This is a request for an additional $15,250, and there's 2 subcomponents of this best practice. One is to get a bulky rigid plastic recycling program going. We need the container. We've been kind of waiting for this through another grant, but they do not know when they're going to even deliver this grant. It's almost been a year, so we're just looking to get this thing going. So Rhonda and I think the highway department and the transfer station, some of the folks there have been there. We know where we would put it. We do need to build an access ramp with protective railing, and then I'm looking that we would need to do some publicity and educational materials. So that's the first one, the bulky rigid plastic recycling program. And the second one is a food diversion program, and that we need buckets. And then there would be transportation fees to the start of the new transfer station year, which I always think of like August 1st when we start getting the money in, and then publicity and materials. I just wanted to let you know at the bottom, our last community compact best practice grants, we did 2 of them, was for $31,000, a little over $31,000, and this grant request $29,000. So I think in the world of best practices, I think it's we'll see what they say. But are there any questions on this second best practice area?
I'm good, Martin.
I have a question on the food waste diversion program. 505-gallon buckets with lids. I'm kind of not up to date on this type of handling of food waste.
Okay. So basically, as a homeowner, if you don't have a compost bin outside or someplace where you put your food waste, besides in the solid waste in your garbage, and you have a bucket. I put 5 gallons. Some of these may be 2.5 gallon, just because they're a little lighter. They've got lids and they've got probably a handle or it's a tote. And you, every day when you have leftover food waste, as they say, if you can scrape it off the plate, they can take it. You put it into your bucket. And then when you go to the transfer station, it's open 4 days a week, you take your food waste and you put the stuff that's in your bucket, you put it in a 64-gallon tote. That is then picked up every day. So there's no issues of having food waste stay overnight. We don't get into any public health issues. And it goes, the vendor that we're looking at, it goes to a local facility in Great Barrington where they make compost out of it that they use for their own farming purposes as well as selling to the public.
Okay, so you would keep your own bucket, and when you went, you would dump it into this other container, and then you take your bucket home.
Bucket home, and you wash it out, and you start the cycle again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
They figure, who knows, but they figure about 28% of solid waste, what goes into the dump that we pay fees to go to be put into a landfill, is food waste. So this is an attempt to kind of just take that out of the mix and do something useful with it. Rhonda, did you have any comments on? I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I was just going to say it's a good idea. I'm not sure it's going to be very smell-free, but it is a good idea not to put biodegradables into a trash stream, so I'm fine with it.
The hope is that since it's picked up daily, the transfer station on 2 days is open, from 1 to 4. The other 2 days it's open longer. If picked up every day at the end of the day, we won't be attracting bears overnight. We won't be, we'll have those smells down to, to a minimum, I hope. So, Rhonda, did you have anything to say about the best practice number 2?
I don't, Renee. I think it's a good program, especially since it is being picked up every day and it's not being left over to attract unwanted guests.
Okay. Does anyone want to take action on this?
This is Martin. I'll make a motion that we work on the Community Compact Best Practices grants for financial management best practices for the town, and for the energy and environment best practices regarding greenhouse gas reduction and the addressing of food waste.
And would you, thank you, and would you also just allow, if Rhonda has to submit this, would you just make that, I'm not sure which one of us has to submit this, would you just...
Thank you, I meant to do that with my motion, so I'm going to just amend it. And to have either Rhonda LeBombard or Renee Wood as chair sign those applications.
Bob, are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee, aye. All right, our next item is a discussion of and possible action regarding a letter to all members of Town of Sheffield boards, committees, and commissions regarding open meeting law requirements for board and member and committee member communications. And I see I have a typo at the very start. That should be boards. We've recently had some items of people emailing each other, replying all these things that can very easily become a violation, even if there's no kind of trading back and forth of it. If you express your opinion and you express it on an item, you can get yourself in trouble. And we're just trying to, once again, stay transparent and above board on all of the board, committee, and commissions activities. I basically just kind of put this together, taking things and quoting from the open meeting law in education materials, and I wanted to see what changes might be needed, or if the board even wants to take this up this evening. So what would you like to do, board members?
Bob, you want to go? Or?
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It does seem to be a little repetitive of what we have to go through for open meeting laws, but they are kind of tricky sometimes, and it's easy to get into the gray areas of the open meeting laws without even knowing it. In fact, I still struggle sometimes of what is and what isn't allowed. There's some fine lines that can be crossed very easily. So I don't think it's a bad idea just to remind everyone that these laws are very strict and can be very problematic.
Martin, how about you?
I'm good with the letter as drafted, and I would make a motion to submit it as drafted with whatever typographical errors there might be changed to submit to our boards and commissions.
Okay.
I'll second.
Bob? Okay, great. Bob, this is why I never talk to you, okay? This is why I don't talk to Mark. That's not to talk to each other, okay? It's not that I don't like you. It's just that, it's just easier not to talk than to get into one of those gray areas. Yeah, it's tough sometimes. All right, so we have a motion and a second with typos corrected. So if there's no further, is there any further discussion? All right, if not, let's do a roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Renee? Aye. Martin?
Yeah,
I do look forward when we can take the COVID-19 update off of our agenda. But do you have anything for us this week?
There is nothing I can do about it being on the agenda except work as we all have cooperatively to try to end COVID-19. However, I am working on a memorandum for the town as it relates to Governor Baker's recent changes in reopening plans. Rather than spend the time here, I think that memorandum, which would be on the town's website as well as sent out hopefully with an email blast, will cover all of those changes. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay. I want to just thank everyone for just, staying the course. And I'm looking forward to hearing from the governor or DHC or DHD, how they have managed to straighten out what's going on with these bots. I think it's just despicable that people are grabbing spots through computer software rather than having to just do it themselves. And I want to thank the Senior Center in particular for the incredible work that they're doing, finding people appointments and just, ears to the ground, and they've become a real source of possibilities through some pharmacies, et cetera. So kudos to them. I think this will get itself resolved. It has to in terms of scheduling appointments. Okay, anyone else on COVID-19? Board members, Rhonda?
No.
All right. let's go to board items. Martin?
Yes, I just have one thing. One of our citizens in a recent formal correspondence with the town and with the select board used the term misleading. The definition of misleading is tending to mislead or being deceptive. And to mislead means to lead in the wrong direction and deceive. I just would like that person, as well as members of our public, to know that the select board, the town administrator, the employees of the town use integrity in their work and in their actions with the public every minute of every day. To my working knowledge as a member of the select board, as well as some other boards and commissions. And what integrity means is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Bob, how about you?
I'm good.
Okay, I have a few items. First of all, I really want to pass on the thanks of many citizens to our highway department. They're getting kudos for the dirt roads. If anybody was out today, boy, spring hit between the flooding and some of the potholes that surfaced. But people are just sending emails and notes in and just thanking the highway department for taking care of our roads. And there's not much they can do about potholes until we get, get past the spring weather. But thank you for those of you who send in compliments to various department members when they've done a good job. It is greatly appreciated. Second of all, I just want to remind people that nomination papers are available in the town clerk's office, and you can call her and she will make arrangements for you to get those. The deadline to obtain papers is March 19th, which is a Friday, and the last day to submit them is for certification is Monday, March 22nd. Again, there's one position open on the select board. There's one position open on the planning board, one position on the library trustees, and moderator. Have I forgotten anybody, Rhonda?
Did you say planning board? I'm sorry, Renee.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Nope.
so I'm good. All right. The last thing I want to just let people know is that we have received notice that we have been awarded the fiscal year 2020 Community Development Block Grant. This was an award of $1.298 million. It was basically for housing rehab for the towns of Dalton, Beckett, Stockbridge, and Sheffield. Checking with Pat Mullins at BRPC, through the years, it started in 2014, we have, through this program, been able to provide housing rehab, which can be up to $45,000 to 20 homeowners here in Sheffield so far, and that it's anticipated that we have about another 7 of these home rehabs to do. I am asking Pat if we need any more applications. They're basically now, with this latest award, going through the applications that had not been able to be fulfilled with the last year's grant, and if there is a need or such for more applications for housing rehab work, we will get that on our website. So, but that's something just to think about. So, Rhonda, how about you? Town administrator items.
I don't have anything, Renee.
All right, public comments. And when you speak, if you could, just please identify yourself. And if you can give a home address, that would be terrific. Who would like to go first?
This is Emily Bruno at 43 Main Street.
Hi,
A couple
Emily.
things. Hi. I just want to say thank you so much for putting in those lights on Main Street at the crosswalks. I walk those streets every day with my kids, and it's really been helpful. Cars are stopping, and it's been great so far. So I want to thank you for that. And the second thing is I heard about this highway garage that might be going in across the street from Undermountain Elementary. And I just have a couple concerns because it seems like that would just add a lot of traffic and noise to the school area. And I'm wondering, is that the place that it's going to be going into, or are there other places that are being looked at?
Would any board member like to answer this? Otherwise, I will. Anyone?
This is Martin. I'm happy to answer it.
Okay, go
Emily,
ahead.
the town owns a parcel of land on Berkshire School Road. It is across the street from the school entrances. We have evaluated over the past 10 years numerous sites. More recently, we've evaluated 4 sites where we asked either for donations of land that were appropriate to the needs of a new highway garage. We then put out a request for proposals for people willing to sell their land, and the Selectboard and the town administration reviewed those sites. The prices that were being asked were too high, or otherwise the site was not really appropriate for us. Right now, we are in the process of at the early stages of evaluating a parcel of about 19 acres that the town owns on Berkshire School Road. There's a lot of work to be done, including ultimately, or at some point, a review with the Conservation Commission, of which I am a member and of which I will recuse myself. But as it relates to any wetlands or other natural resources that are on that site, we have a lot of work that our consultants are in the process of doing. The Select Board has made no decision on this site at this stage.
Okay. Is there anything that will be done with the school children that being taken into consideration? The crosswalks aren't very good there. They're not really well lit. I'm just thinking about children moving around in trucks and buses and.
If the town, I'm going to answer that. If the Select Board and the town administrator agree to go forward with it, this will come to a decision for the town, I believe, at a town meeting. But again, a lot of work has to be done. All of those environmental and space and traffic related considerations will have been taken into account. So I would answer affirmatively. We will be considering the impact on traffic and foot traffic and crosswalks.
Okay.
Also, Emily, we have. I'm sorry, Emily. We also have another grant that we're going to be looking to put the flashing crosswalk beacons at the school, and
okay,
also,
I did hear that. Yeah.
Okay, and also do some additional sidewalk work in that area. It's completely separate from this. It's just the right thing to be doing there. I'm surprised that it actually isn't there right now. But so, did you have another comment or question? This is far from being done.
I was wondering, is this something that the public kind of weighs in on, or how do we know how this is going in terms of the getting approval from the state and things like that? I know it's the wetlands, but
we've been talking about this, and we also looked for land to get from. Smitty was trying to help us get some land from Mass DOT. So this has been and we also looked at custom extrusion. This has been a really long process.
Right. I remember. Yes.
Yeah. So it comes up on the agendas. I'm sure that there's going to be, as this progresses, if it progresses positively, there will be a point for public comment. Since the town does own the land, the town does not have to vote to obviously buy the land. But we would be interested in public comment. Okay. The town would have to approve the money that would go for the actual construction itself. But we're putting, every time we're talking about this, we're putting it on an agenda. So I think the thing to do is just to, once a week. We meet every 2 weeks, and sometimes we have working meetings once a week on Sunday. Check and see what's on the electronic calendar.
Okay, thank you, Renee.
And could I add a little
Yes,
something
please,
to
Bob.
Renee? We are not looking to build in the wetlands areas. This acreage is about 19 to 20 acres. We're looking at 4 to 6 acres for the highway garage, and none of that 4 to 6 acres is in designated wetlands. And we are doing our best, and we're in the process to make sure that we won't be in any of the setback areas. But we have hired a consultant that is looking into it. And as soon as the environment and the snow melts, he will be in there, and we will do soil samples. And so we're not looking to build in the wetlands, and we are only looking to use 4 to 6 acres of the 19-acre parcel.
Yes, I think the group, everyone that's involved, is also extremely sensitive to appearances. What has been talked about so far is, again, consistent with environment and, this and that and the other thing that needs to be taken into account. We are looking to set this back and have quite a bit of it screened. So, I'm just going to be straight out. I'm not sure that this type of project, wherever it was put, would have people waving flags for it in support. But we're going to. We have been very straightforward in taking comments and such. And we're listening to what you say. We just have to do our work, and this may or may not be an appropriate site. We'll see.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Hi, this is Liz Coffey, 467 Berkshire School Road.
Hi, Liz.
I also wanted to talk about that parcel. My question was, I know there's a large piece of land for sale over by the transfer station on Barnum Street, and I was wondering if the board had looked into that as a possible site for the garage.
This is Martin.
No,
I've looked at
Martin,
it from
go
the
ahead.
perspective of a Conservation Commission member. Almost the entire site that is for sale is either wetlands or natural resource intensive to almost 100%. So that I know that land's been on the market with Lands for Mulin for, I think, as long, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why it hasn't sold. It has,
So is it remarkably different from the land that the town already owns?
it is remarkably different. Yes.
Night and day. Night and day. You're free to go walking on that land.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was wondering what...
I would wear waders if you did.
I guess I could walk on both pieces of land since they're both...
Well, no, I was not encouraging Liz to go trespassing. I was encouraging her to walk on the town land. Please let me be clear. Yeah, no. I mean, this is kind of this has been a process. We have picked this back up again within the last year and a half because the current garage sits across the street from the water company's one of their main wellheads. That's a frightening thing to think about.
Yeah,
all right.
That's terrible.
That is an interesting thing to think about. That's water that is supplied to, I think it's over 500 homes and businesses. So this is.
I definitely understand that it has to move. I've seen that.
Yes.
I've seen that piece of
and
property.
we have gone through the custom extrusion, too expensive. We have gone through trying to get land from Mass DOT that Smitty assisted us. That didn't go. We went out to public bid. One response. It's beautiful land, but it's not. It's priced for a particular use. All right, with a business on it. So that didn't go. So we started going back, looking at the land that we have, and that's where we are right now. So it's not like we haven't been trying to do due diligence on this. If this land looks favorable, and you heard all the hurdles that have to be gone through. It potentially has the value of, well, value is not the right word. It potentially could save taxpayers a fair amount of money. And if you have gone on, Sheffield real estate, you know how little land is for sale and how expensive it is. And a lot of the
Yeah, that's why I was curious about the Barnum Street.
Yeah, if a lot of the land for sale is very, it would be fine for a home building, but it's marginal in terms of wetlands concerns. It's really shocking to see how fast things are going in Sheffield these days, whether it's land or homes. I guess that's good if you're buying it, but we're going to continue to do our due diligence. There's going to be no corners that are cut here. DEP is watching over Concom. Somebody already sent a letter in saying we were going ahead with things, and DEP, called Concom and said, what's going on? So they had to explain that no, we were not even at that point. We're just doing some initial work. So, we'll continue to keep
for the town that, not the highway garage, the pump station across the road, that long-term from an environmental perspective, a hazard mitigation environmental hazard mitigation programs that we've all been working on throughout the years, that's not the ideal site, number one. Number two, the buildings on the existing highway garage are what I would term prehistoric. They do not suffice for the proper care and maintenance of our vehicles, in addition to the highway department staff themselves. This has been a long time in coming, and it is time for a new location. There isn't enough land there to build what we need to accommodate, and I think Bob Kilmer mentioned it earlier. We're looking at about 4 acres, and that is the size of the parcel that we've been going out with our RFPs, looking for donations, using as kind of the litmus test of what is available that is not 100% in wetlands or natural resources protected areas. The only other thing I want to add, of course, is that, as many of you may know, that highway garage is located near residences. Again, as Renee said, it's not possible with the town being what it is today and with land prices being what they are, to find what would appease every person in this community with regard to a new highway garage location. Having said that, the Selectboard and the town and our consultants are working as carefully, as openly as we can to try to understand the best location for the next highway garage.
Right. Okay. So I can appreciate how difficult it has been. I just want to get clearer. When you talk about the hazard mitigation program, what hazards are you talking about?
Municipal vulnerabilities, things like storms, floods, hurricanes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Laura, you were in on that when we developed that with BSC a couple of years ago, where we identified all the town's hazards. Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to warn you, but the fact is this is across the street from that wellhead, and so we need to be conscious of that, and it's time. It's time to get going on this.
But what I just want to get clear.
Could I add something? Basically, part of the reason why we want to build the new highway garage is because we want to make an environmentally friendly highway garage where vehicles can be washed, the salt and whatever debris that come off them, and the water will be filtered and reclaimed, not just like being washed outside where it permeates through the ground. The chemicals would be captured and disposed of properly. We can get the fuel tanks out of the ground. They're now buried. We'd like to get them above ground in a containment facility. We'd like a highway garage that heats efficiently. Ours does not. And of course, you know, I think it was built in '63. It wasn't built near to the standards with the R factors that we have for insulation now. We're just basically trying to make it an environmentally friendly highway garage.
Okay, it's good to hear those details. Thank you, Bob. I just want to say one thing that I'm very glad to hear that you're talking about reclaiming all of the water and the contaminants and whatnot, filtering and reclaiming them. Because I just want to make this point that if we're concerned about those things getting into the water system where the highway garage is located now, that if we aren't doing those things, if we have the potential for putting those things shouldn't be in the water system no matter where it's located. That's all I'm saying, and it sounds like you've got that. You're thinking about that.
Yeah, we're very much on this, and the standards are very strict these days. They used to be a lot laxer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll keep everyone informed. Okay. But
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just am concerned about our water. That's all.
I am too. I am too.
Potable
we all
water.
are.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there anyone else? Yes. Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
This is Martin. I have motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call vote. Martin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.